That is it for qualifying then, everybody. Passy on pole position from Andrew Pittsmith from Dom Pedrito, Deckers and CJ Drama, your top five. For the final round of the season here in Extinguished Motorsports. What a season it has been. And to round it off, Passy on pole. And it's lights out, and away we go for the final round of the season with the 9 drivers here today. Down into turn 1 here in Japan. Andrew Pittsmith and Passy going all out for old time's sake up the inside line. Andrew into P1, taking the lead already in the early stages. One of the Alpines of Dom Pedrito going off wide there as somebody cutting the grass. It's Digger all the way off at the back. Andrew Pittsmith though leads ahead of Passy, ahead of Deckers, ahead of CJ Drama. The top 4 looking strong. Perceivable coming in 5 then. Then it's Stray Dog 6 and Speed Freak in 7. The 2 McLarens then running close as ever all the way up towards the left-hander and towards the end of the first sector. Stray Dog looking a bit iffy on the exit there on his rears, but he did catch the car, and his teammate does the exact same thing. Lap 1 of 27, everybody, and Andrew Pittsmith leads quite confidently so far ahead of Passy, who of course started as the race leader but lost it into turn 1. Passy at the minute has got to get a race on if he wants to get back ahead. Andrew Pittsmith's race pace looks pretty quick at the minute then. We're going to check on tyres to see the difference. That might be why Andrew with much better grip on the tyres. He started on the softs as opposed to everybody else on the mediums, but that will explain his advantage today, and his very clear advantage due to the soft compound tyres, more grip, more stickier then on the track, and that is exactly why he is finding this so much easier then to stay ahead. Lap 1 of 27 comes to a close, then the second lap begins in a moment, and Deckers on his debut race dips his foot onto the grass there, loses his rears, and CJ Drama gets through, then he loses his rears and knocks into the back of CJ Drama goes Deckers. Andrew Pittsmith now with the fastest lap round the outside of Deckers goes Perceivable into 4. Deckers drops down to 5, and the Red Bull is defenseless at the minute. I'm looking like Stray Dog might make a move then as well. He's getting really close to the Red Bull. And Stray Dog have a nice race. Never mind. He goes wide. He goes deep. It's Speed Freak now going up the inside of his teammate. Speed Freak's into 6, but can he maintain it? Stray Dog now going side by side. They're all going out round the S's section, sorry, and Stray Dog has held that one into P6 now. Speed Freak has got a bit of work to do to try and get back through. Wow, good racing then from the drivers at this moment in time. Perceivable in 4 has got to try and overtake CJ Drama. Passy has got Andrew Pittsmith ahead still, but the 2 McLarens are still going all out, and Dom Pedrito is right on the backside of that too. Digger is 2 seconds back from the pack and trying his best, but at the minute, unfortunately, it is just not enough to catch up with the rest of the boys right now. Speed Freak running it a bit wide there, but catching the car quite nicely as they head down the back straight, then up towards 130R. Slingshotting it into the left-hander, and the Mercedes has just done that. Perceivable into 3. It could be Mercedes 1-2 today if they carry on with this kind of form. Perceivable hasn't really got much more to gain then to get into second place. And then we have a 1-2 for the Mercedes provisionally. Andrew Pittsmith then with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on lap 3 of 27. Behind that is Deckers then to try and gain on CJ. CJ's even quicker now to gain on Perceivable. He was closing up for the outside line there, but didn't take it this time around. Deckers now is getting ever closer, and the P3, 4 and 5 are all within a couple tenths now of overtaking each other. Lap 3 of 27, bringing the action here in Extinguished Motorsports. They opened up the exit to gain on Perceivable, and now that's worked a treat for him because he's going to go up the inside line. Here's the Red Bull on the Mercedes. He's into P4 for a brief moment. Will he maintain it? He's going to try. He does squeeze the Mercedes out, and he gets P4 quite rightfully there. Lovely stuff for the Red Bull. And on the front, but is it going to be enough to make a move on Andrew Pittsmith for the first time today? He's going to go to the outside line. It's going to be a move for the race lead for Passy, and he's back into the front after starting on pole, but up the inside goes Andrew trying to take it back. Wasn't enough today. Passy back into 1. Speed Freak and Perceivable swap positions then as Decker's still holding 4. Perceivable drops down to 6 now. He was all the way up in like 3rd or 4th earlier, but he's dropped down the order quite a bit. But a bad exit there for the Mercedes allows Speed Freak to come back through again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go then, round the outside into 130R, and he's done it quite nicely there. And Dom Pedrito in 9. And Speed Freak does pick up the first time penalty. Dom Pedrito hits the barrier here in Japan, and he loses his rears there. He loses the front wing as well. And the Alpine hits the barrier quite hard. I think the second time I've seen him go round today, unless that was Perceivable. I think it was Don. His rear's going again. They're going to be absolutely cooked now and fiery as he gets back onto the track. Andrew Pittsmith still gaining on Passy on the 7-lap hold. Soft compound tyres, 5 minutes. As Digger retires from the session. That's a safety car. How's Digger retired there? It looks like he's crashed, everybody. In the 27 then, safety car in at the end of this lap. The safety car now in the pit lane. We're going to get 10 laps of racing then for the end of this season. The final 10 laps of the season here in Extinguished Motorsports. What a season it has been. Colin wins the championship, of course, and now we get ready, ladies and gentlemen, for 10 laps more. Andrew Pittsmith then ahead. Deckers in second place now in this race. What is going on here? Deckers has managed to make some places up on the 8-lap-old hards right now, opposed to the Passy on the 3-lap-old hards. Oh, off the track there for Stray Dog then, all the way off there, bringing himself back on in the McLaren. That could have been a lot worse than it was, ladies and gentlemen, as Stray Dog back on the track at the back of the grid. Unfortunately, just not really having the pace today to stick up there with the, you know, the front runners and the back of the grid right now. Passy and Deckers then going side by side. Passy through past Deckers for now. He has the inside line. Deckers outbrakes him. Passy then outbrakes him as well. This is looking very quite nice for the Alpine. He gets ahead of him. And now second place is all his. Deckers has to drop down. In the chat, Wolfie says 10 laps to go. You are absolutely right. 10 laps before the end. And then we do have post-race interviews. I'll try and keep them brief tonight so the drivers can just get off. But we'll try and have some nice interviews as well. And then, of course, the penultimate lap of the race then about to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, and Passy in the Alpine, the man who is looking like he's going to win the final race of the season today, as he heads round the final few corners then and will head up towards the line. CJ Drama's gone around in the final lap of the race, then loses positions. That is an awful place to spin. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, lap 27 of 27. At the very end of a long race, Passy in the Alpine has driven an absolutely phenomenal race today. And I don't think there's anybody else that deserves it more than him in the Alpine through 130R. And for his final drive of the season, his final few corners of the season, it's been a brilliant season, especially for him, as he's going to cross the line in the Alpine to win, ladies and gentlemen, the Japanese Grand Prix, and also second place in the championship standings. Absolutely brilliant from Passy. Wins the Japanese Grand Prix, second place in the championship. Collins, of course, will be taking that P1 in the World Championship standings then. Andrew Pittsmith comes home in second place. Speed Freak third. Percival will be in 4. As never mind, 3 on penalties now. Speed Freak 4, CJ Drama 5, and Straight Up will cross the line in 6th position, everybody. Well done, everybody in the chat. Here we go then, race winner is Passy and dominated all these boards. Fastest lap is him and cleanest driver too. Speed Freak gets the driver today and most overtakes. For the Japanese Grand Prix then, Passy wins from Andrew Pittsmith, Percival, Speed Freak, CJ Drama, Stray Dog, Deckers, and then Digger and Dom Pedrito retired, of course.